Time for some welding. Okay, all garbed up. Got my welding jacket on with the leather sleeves, safety boots, fireproof pants, welding cap, welding mask, critical, welding gloves. I got a new pair I'll probably use today. These are the old ones here. Safety glasses for when I'm grinding. Earplugs. And of course, respirator, which I'll probably use virtually all the time. So this is today's project. It's a sculpture that I started quite a while ago and I haven't finished it off. It's a real steampunk kind of looking sculpture. Probably the most steampunky looking thing that I've ever made. There's this cultivator arm sticking out the back. This is supposed to be kind of steampunky rototiller garden tractor machines. There's an old wheelbarrow, steel wheelbarrow wheel in there. And I love this piece down there, which is like going to hammer the ground. And that's like a rear rotor off of a helicopter. I just love that piece. And then there's this piece of case farm equipment, a guard, probably off of a combine. Here, let's turn it so you can read it. There we go. And another beautiful sprocket down there. These are some old truck chassis parts that actually in this case I've bolted on. I don't normally do that, but these ones just seem to want to be bolted. This one back here is bolted too. But anyways, today's finish upper is this cultivator arm has to be welded in place. So right there I've used this this bolt here as kind of a attacher piece. So this is all got to be ground up and welded. This clamp's been on here for a long time. The weather's all rusty. It's all long it's been sitting. This piece of cultivator here has to be welded to that piece of chassis there. And also the whole thing has to be leveled on the ground. I'm going to put a little metal foot plate, which you can just see in the dirt there on that one. It's going to be welded on. And then a base plate over here so that when they it gets set on the ground, it's going to be a lot better shape. Okay, all ready to do some grinding now. Oh, it's getting hot out. Okay, so I've ground up the workpiece here, giving me nice surface to weld on. I just have to do that arm now, the cultivator kind of arm. I've got to get all the metal ground up on those, and then we can weld the two things together. I like to grind as much everything as I can at the beginning, so I don't have to go back and forth. So that's what I do. Looks like I kind of got wings on my hair there, doesn't it? Okay, we got this piece ground up and fitted on there. See down here I put a little base plate so when it sits on the ground or a concrete pad, whatever I'm going to put it on, it's just rather than that sharp tooth sitting on the ground, that'll hold it a bit better. And up here I'm almost finished fitting back together up here. You can see in here I've ground all the metal bare all the way around the edge of this thing as well. There's where I'm going to put my ground connection right there, polished it up. Put this clamp on there, hold it. I'm just going to tack it around here initially. Just give it a few good little tacks on there, and then I'll take the clamp off. This side here a little bit more problematic. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. I'm using this bolt here, and I'm going to tack it in here and then weld it up. I'm going to weld the face of this nut and everything all tight to this piece of old truck chassis. actually went better than I was hoping for. That nice heavy steel with the arc welder. Whoa! The nice heavy steel with the arc welder, you get a nice good weld. I'm not going to show you a close-up of my welds because they're pretty goobery looking, boogery looking, but it's going to hold. It's nice thick weld I got on there. Now I got to dress up that other side before I weld it now. Let's do that. So I've put the cutoff wheel on the grinder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hunk out of that piece so I can get that bolt in there. So right in here, I'm going to put a big notch in there, and then that should let me get the bolt in nice and tight. Here we go. Wow, I can't believe how soft that piece of old truck chassis is. And it's probably from the 1940s or 50s, a piece of truck chassis. It's just, it wasn't hard at all. It's super soft actually to cut, which was good. So there's where we cut that notch out, and this nut has got to sit flat against this edge in here right now. I got a little bit more grinding on that edge there to do just to make it super flat. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on when I was welding the nuts and the bolts there, so we didn't capture it. Anyways, what I learned is that those nuts and those bolts, I set like the temperatures, you know, the power's set pretty high for this heavy gauge here. Those nuts and the bolts, it just blows them apart, just melts them right down. Now it worked, but it's really ugly. I just burned the nuts and the bolts way up, far beyond anything that I wanted to, but it'll work. It's just a little bit ugly looking. Okay, what do we got left to do? We got to do that little foot on the bottom there, and I might put a base plate up at the front here. So let's do the foot at the bottom there, and we're getting close. I think we're done for today. The only thing to do now is figure out how the heck am I going to move this bad boy up on a hill over where I want it. I've got to engineer that yet. I might have to get some help because it weighs a lot. Here is the sculpture. We're up on a hill here. You can see there's quite a slope coming up here. There's a bunch of other sculptures. Anyways, I took those two sheets of plywood that I had put the sculpture on to level it all out, and I made a sled out of it. So I took some other boards there and I screwed it on either side to join the two pieces of plywood. I put this plate at the front here with a big heavy hook on it. You can just see it in the grass there, and then I put hooks in the corners and I put bungees on it to stabilize it and everything. And what I did is I hooked a little come-along on there and towed it up here with my lawn tractor. Very slowly, carefully. I had my nephew Darren here helping me. He just walked the side of it. Ooh, work boots would have been useful. I'll just put it on my toe. Stuck on something over here. Almost there. Okay, I'm gonna announce this as being officially done now, and it looks really good up here on the edge of the hill against all the wildflowers and everything. It's looking good.
That was cool, man. Yeah, that was cool.